pace, but definitely keeping in position, and just that sort of making sure they're staying in front. All the other teams are doing the same. Decathlon, but NSN up through the middle. It's forcing the pace of the peloton. Rather UAE to just take a little bit of a back seat while Oliveira is up the road, with the gap now approaching a minute lead for these three.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing is a little bit of an acceleration from the bunch, because shortly they're going to take a left, and the road goes a little bit narrower, and they do the longest climbs on this circuit, or maybe even the longest climb on the circuit, which is 2.2k, average 6%, but the road is quite narrow there as well. So for a lot of the teams, they want to enter in good position, because the road can easily get blocked, and 3 or 4 riders can slip away, and you can miss the boats without having the space really to get through. So it's important for teams to enter in good position here. I think that's what we're seeing. NSN in the middle.
I'll be interested to see what the young Spaniard Hector Alvarez can do for the Lidl Trek team today. As we'll just catch a glimpse there of Jasper Stuyven. Oh, there is Alvarez right behind him, in fact, number 52. And at the moment, it's Decathlon, CMR, CGM, NSN, UAE Team Emirates. A few riders from Total Energy as well, and alongside the men in pink and blue from the Unibet Rosa Rockets. Biniam got him of his own teammates, but rather using sort of other riders, middle of the road, and popping himself in second wheel. Meanwhile, back at the front, they're starting on the Côte d'Armane, 2.2 kilometres. Average gradient just under 6%, maximum just over 7. So a gradual climb, not super steep, but certainly something that's going to bite, with 115 kilometres of racing already done, 58 still to go. Stan Appel here, the tall Dutchman from the Beat Cycling team presented by Saxo. Oliveira has just recently come across to these two, and they were almost caught, really reinvigorated the break. And it's a credit to the two riders who have been out there for such a long time today. They're just working away with Rui Oliveira and building this gap back out to almost a minute. And any opportunity to get water and take it on and have it with you is a great opportunity in hot weather like this. Even if it means just having a daggy old plastic bottle hanging out your pocket. As we saw on the last climbers, Decathlon were doing a lot of the pace setting, a lot of the attacking as well, with Rasmus Pedersen on that last climb. Now they're rather just setting the pace. Now they can break up the road again in a minute. Double to the UAE rider in it. Decathlon just going into a sort of more conventional pace setting at the front of the peloton, rather than trying to go on the attack.
Ask you as well about coin, if you think
it's possible, depending on the real tactic of the team, if they're trying to set up stun the wolf, as you mentioned. His form and the lead into the Tour de France, I think really in this field that he'll cope with this course pretty well, and I see it's definitely a chance, because he's one of those rare sprinters with one with so much speed that actually climbs really well and deals with a tough parkour.
Yeah, indeed, he's a bit lighter, isn't he, than your typical, certainly on the lighter side for his comparison to the likes of Tim Merlier. You see attack here from Movistar. But yeah, I think there'll be a lot of teams like that. They'll have the fast man, and with the time bonuses and the probable 2 more bunch sprints we have after this, they'll be thinking, well, we'll see if we can get the sprinter as close to the finish and try to made a lot of Olaf Koy, and then there'll be the big gun style. I think the teams will switch the other way. It's maybe the teams without a sprinter, the likes of Trek we saw on stage 1, that really have to sort of animate. They did a really good job there on stage 1 of animating the race. So UAE as well, obviously they lost Milano, so they don't have a sprinter, and they're almost forced into this situation, trying to animate the race, make it a hard stage, get rid of these sprinters, and yeah, doing a good job at the moment.
Yeah, there'll be a few fast men that rate their chances of getting through this stage intact on GC, and then maybe being able to pick up bonus seconds over the next couple of stages. Try and take home the race leader's purple jersey. Biniam Gourmet, he expressed his confidence after day 1 about this stage. Thought it was doable. Jasper Philipsen, although a much heavier set rider, and he's not a pure sprinter. He's a very good classics rider. He's got a massive engine, and on his day, if he really puts his mind to it and he's willing to do the suffering, then this sort of course is also not completely beyond him. 45 seconds now for the 3 leaders, so the gap has shrunk by 8 or 9 seconds since they started this climb. Floddy and Vermeers there in the middle, just matching the pace of those around him rather than being the one to push on. More water bottles being taken on. Absolute stinker of a day in Belgium today. Michael van Toornhout, a cyclocross rider from the Pole Solzen team. And it's good to see the crosses getting out on the road at this time of season instead of building that strength, endurance, looking towards the next cross season. But you might think, yeah, but it's only the middle of summer. Well, those guys had their first cross at the end of September and early October. And I listened to a note just before that said, we're only 100 days from the World Road Championship, which is often a race you think, well, after that, basically the season's over. So it flies by.
Attack. So this is the kind of move, this is the kind of guy. Of course, everyone knows when the reaction has happened, but this is really dangerous move.
with a bidon hanging out of his teeth. Maybe not absolutely ideal, but I'm not sure of the tactic behind this one. But Van Baarle, maybe he's already got a full house on the bike, has he? And it's taken him a long time to get himself organised. There we go. Nearly finished. He's just that sort of guy, isn't he, that no matter what he's doing, like he's busy, had a bidon in his hand, but he just saw the opportunity, thought this is too good an opportunity, I've got to go.
Either that or he took the bidon from the bottle point with his teeth, I'm not sure.
Little counter attack now from Decathlon. Rider from Beat Cycling Team, just trying to protect the lead of his teammate Stan Appel, who's up the road. A lot of ebbing and flowing. No massive moves coming out of this group, just small acceleration, see if they can cause a split as soon as they go. A lot of looking around like, are we away yet? Who's here? No one yet ready to commit to a big attack. And there's so many places on this circuit where the winning move can come. And we saw it, well, was it 3 years ago, 2023, Mathieu van der Poel, he annihilated the field on this circuit. Went long range, he just kept attacking until there's just no one left in his wheel. Went on to win the stage solo and win the race overall. And they're going again, Steve.
It's Van Baarle, is that man Van Baarle again? An NSN rider and decathlon.
Yep, Van Baarle, this time without a bidon in the teeth. Flick of the elbow, asking the rider behind to come and give him a big turn. At first reluctant, now coming through. A little bit of a breeze up as well, so a really hot day. That wind picking up may also be an indicator there's a little bit of adverse weather around too, Steve. That's on the forecast for a possible late thunderstorm as well.
Yeah, which of course will add another level of complexity. If it starts to get wet on some of these downhills, it's going to make this race even more difficult. So hopefully it'll stay dry. Well, as you say, difficult racing conditions.
Well, that little skirmish quashed yet again. And it's just served to bring the gap down to the leading three, 35 seconds. With 52 kilometres to go. Two of our original breakaway riders have been caught by Rui Oliveira. Built the gap back out to almost a minute. Now hovering 35 seconds off as they hit the Côte de Coquemont. One of the 5 lines on this circuit around Dubuis. Back at Peloton now Q36.5. Pinarello starting to wind things up. It's been, Steve, a sort of a one team at a time coming and making their mark. In a way, it's been NSN going, then it's been Soudal Quickstep, and now coming forward as a small block is Pinarello Q36.5, trying to cause their share of the pain.
Yeah, indeed, isn't it? Instead of riders, pulling per se, it seems like big accelerations, attack, just trying to animate the race, just trying to open the race, continue to make it hard. As you say, those teams, Decathlon, Q36 now, Soudal, they seem the main sort of teams to NSN as well, trying to create some bigger group to go or make it a little bit harder.
And although it was strong attack by Oliveira when he went, are you somewhat surprised that other teams sort of didn't have a tighter grip on the situation? Would you imagine that most teams in their team meeting would have said, don't let UAE go up the road without one of us?
Yeah, I think I'm not sure actually if they would have marked UAE. I think maybe a lot of teams would be thinking more on numbers, and with 2 riders up the road who'd already been away for 100 kilometres, they've been in that break. The legs are already, certainly in terms of energy, there's a bit of a dent there in their energy block, and one rider going across to that, it's probably not a huge threat, but had it been like 3 or 4, then in addition to the already 2, it starts to, I think it's more like numbers, guys. If there's 4 guys or 5 guys, we have to be there, and I'm not sure teams would be specifically picking out UAE saying, you got to be there if UAE are there. I think maybe there's other teams but it's such an open race. It's difficult to say. So that's why I think it's more about the numbers. And what we see behind is when one of those sort of big four teams, Cathlon, NSN, Sudal, when they start moving, it's almost like the other team is immediately there shutting them down. So it's a big cat and mouse at the minute.
And the road's starting to get wet too, Steve. Starting to see tyre tracks and a few water droplets on the first on the heli, and well, now it's getting soaking wet. So there's plenty of weather in the area. And just we saw one of those heli shots a little bit earlier. You could see some really dark patches of cloud, and where there looked to be some heavy showers falling. So fairly shortly, there's a quite a big chance that the race will be getting soaked.
Yeah, like we said, and that's going to be a factor as well. It's going to stretch this bunch out every time they go downhill. Gaps, elastic's going to get stretched, and it's going to make it difficult then immediately when they start climbing.
Looks pretty clear out this way, but behind the peloton out the other direction was looking really, really dark. Oh, you can see the raindrops on the camera lens, so the weather definitely coming in. Sure, although it makes the roads wet, makes the descents a little more treacherous. It'll be not completely unwelcome by the riders. It'll be absolutely sweltering in 30 plus degrees conditions to get a little bit of rain and a nice cool off.
Yeah, I think it'll be a welcome relief. We just see Uno X on the right hand side. They've come up to the front here because this will be like the final 5K now. Obviously, we do it again next lap, but this will be the run into that finishing climb, which 800 meters at 8-9%, ramps at 10. So position will be important to that final climb, even this time around as well.
Yeah, it's a twisting and narrow approach to that final climb, and then the really steep ramps and up through the finish line. You miss the wheel by just a few meters. That can cause a massive split on the other side. A couple of Sudal quick step riders just languishing down towards the back now. Dylan Van Baarle, one of them, number 26 on the right hand side. Just next to him is teammate Casper Pedersen. So Steve, Dylan Van Baarle, he actually reminds me a little bit of your riding style back in the day. He's either just hovering a few lengths off the back of the peloton, or he's off the front. There's not much in between.
Yeah, he's obviously, he can't sprint, can he? But when you can't sprint, this is what you have to go from distance or do the job for a teammate. So he's tried, hasn't he? We saw him trying around that sort of 60, 55, 50k to go marker. This is the downhill here. We're getting pictures of it. Looks like here the road is dry, Robbie. But Van Baarle he's tried from distance, and I suspect he'll probably try again sooner or later.
A few little wet patches appearing on the road surface down here. I was just watching Oliveira just take on that left-hander a couple of corners ago. It looked a little bit sketchy. He's giving it full respect in the wet conditions. Although, when it does start to rain here in Belgium, it's not going to get as slippery as Italy. So these roads, they do get plenty of rain throughout the year, and they don't have that slippery consistency of places like southern Spain, down in Italy. We get a lot of the dust and grime build up on the road that almost turns to soap when it gets wet. So still pretty nice conditions for the riders. Just pushing that gap back out now to around 40 seconds and 46k to go. And it seems like back in the peloton, the big team, the World Tour teams, those with riders they think are in a position to win today's stage, they seem to just wait until there's a hard moment on the circuit that, a decent sort of climb, make an impact. But for the rest of it, they're not really going and riding on the front, not wasting energy, towing everyone along on the downhills, through the valleys, on the flatter sections, just sort of holding position, waiting for the uphills and then trying to strike. This is the approach to the final climb. And, well, that's a big faux pas by that police vehicle. I can't even speculate what he was thinking.
Yeah, it's actually not too bad, is it, that run in there to the climb? Of course, position's important, but there isn't actually a real bottleneck. I think it will stretch out because of the downhill, but it's pretty wide.
Yeah, and you can see it sort of dragging up through here, but should these cobbles really get wet coming through to the finish, then that could be a really tricky approach to this final climb. See that through the 500 metres to go. It's a 44.5 kilometre circuit. Once they get to the top of this, the work really amps up. Pinarello Q36.5 now starting to wind up the pressure. Riders going out the back. Case ball, most to be expected. Sprinter / lead out man. As we're on the Mu de Dubuis, maximum gradient 12.5%, average gradient through that kilometre of 6.5%. The rate now falling off. The other two riders with Oliveira have been out here all stage long, and it's almost 130 kilometres. He's about to come forward and grab them all. Gianni Marchand pushing on, a step up at this court. Up and over the top looks to be a 30-metre gap from our two leaders back to the peloton, led by Pinarello Q36.5. He's the only rider for his team right up the front there. Stringing out at the back. And this looks so much harder back here. Just clamping on. Get over this climb and try and ride back into the safety of the peloton. The riders going out the back. Been a really tough day this week. Well, a lonely old ride for the next 44 kilometres for those wanting to get through to tomorrow's stage. But if you're back here now, I'd say there's no way you're going to be returning to the front. Marchand, just a little problem with the gears, trying to get that up into the big chain ring. Oliveira just checking on his breakaway companion. Just continuing to push on through the finish line. Q36.5, every time the road's gone up, they've really pushed hard to reduce this gap, get the race back together, keep it aggressive, keep everyone pressure on the pedals all the time, trying to have no easy moments. Already missing Sam Bennett, who's abandoned the race today. However, this stage wouldn't have been for the Irish sprinter in any case. And I suppose that their best chance for victory today would come through Quentin Hermans.
Yeah, I think so, Robbie. I think certainly on the paper he's the standout. But they do have De Gent, Ahmed De Gent is also strong. Brent Van Boer can go. So yeah, they have a strong team, but Quinton Evans is probably the standout guy.
Well, I'm assuming that this is everything back together, is it? Yep. So we didn't see the catch there of Oliveira and Marchand. But the live ticker at the top, the kilometre ticker, no little stopwatch next to it. So everything back together. And Lotto Intermarché now pushing on hard, which is a little bit curious on this sort of flat section, unless there's an intermediate sprint coming up. Or just trying to do a little bit of damage with this, with the breeze that's been lifting. A little bit of crosswind. A lot of riders in trouble towards the back of the peloton, fighting for survival in the race. And here at the front, so plenty of numbers for NSN. There's Biniam Germay just on the right of picture, trying to work his way up to his teammates. And Lotto Intermarché, who decided this is the moment to make things hard. They've got Toon Arts, the cyclocrosser in second wheel, who's coming off the back of a really strong Giro d'Italia. So with 41 kilometres remaining, now on the final lap of this circuit, 4 big circuits with start and finish in Dubuis, and the finish atop the Mur de Dubuis. And Lotto Intermarché saying this is the moment to really make the race hard and keep it under control. I don't want any more moves going up the road like we saw from Rui Oliveira. Then the question is, who are they riding for within their ranks? Is it for Toon Arts, who had a really strong Giro? Possibly for their fast man who deals well with a hilly circuit in Jena Bergmus, number 32. Already had just now one rider swing off from the front and dropping back through the peloton. So it's not a just tempo setting controlling move, but that seemed like almost an all-out effort, Steve, by the rider who's just swung away.
Yeah, certainly was. Wasn't it? Definitely a peeler there. So, and the way the peloton was stretched out there, you could see he was really pushing on. Looks like there's been a crash there for the Alpecin rider.
Oh yeah. And we also saw Tim Merlier in the purple leader's jersey, which he will relinquish today. So this group getting the bell now, and already a number of minutes behind. Merlier and others all having a look for the big screen to see how their teammates are getting on, see what's going on at the head of the race. And all of those riders, including Tim Merlier, just looking to get through to the end of today and into tomorrow's stage, where it's another much flatter day as the race goes to Aarschot. And Tim Merlier will get an opportunity to add to yesterday's stage victory that he got in Knokke-Heist, the 3rd time in a row that he's won.